Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama and today I am bringing you a PvZ between MillStephano, the pink Protoss spawning up in the top right corner, and spawning down in the bottom left we have Whitera, the red Zerg. So I recently just did a game where, who changed races? Somebody, who was it? Was it Chobo was playing? I cannot remember for the life of me for some reason. But a player he changed his race up and was playing a different race. And this replay actually pulled out of IPL replays. It looks like Stephano and Whitera, in the midst of, they actually had a competition there anyways, but in the midst of all that, they had a fun game where I guess they decided to switch races up. So we will get to see Stephano and Whitera playing their opponent's race in this PvZ matchup. And one of the most fun things, I must say, that I enjoy about off-racing, especially off-racing the exact race of what my opponent's going to be. So if I'm Zerg, I'll play Protoss, and my opponent will play Zerg, of course, when he's a Protoss. Is you will always tend to do the things that you find the most annoying, such as MillStephano already going for the annoying block on the minerals right there by mining and pulling off so the patches cannot be mined. And it's just like a whole game of this. So you'll see things like that. You'll see players abuse this. You'll see 3 pylon walls. Oh, they can't right here because of the supply depot. But the blocks, and then maybe the gateway block. And I mean, there's just so many things that as a Zerg player or as a Protoss player, you're just like, oh, I hate it when my opponent does this. And that's exactly what the people tend to do when they do off-race like this. So Stephano for now going to go ahead and set up a little patrol box right there to block, and Whitera simply going to head over and take the third base of his opponent. In the meantime, we do see that Stephano has gone for Nexus first, followed by that Forge. And is he going to stop at 17 probes, as most Protoss do, or is he going to continue? No, he is not. He's going to throw it on the gateway like a good Protoss player. And he actually built the probe there for a second. I saw it, but he canceled it. He realized, nope, I'm supposed to stop at 17. Oh, 16. 17. You stop at 17, right? I think so. So, looks like Stephano going to throw up the... That's not full wall. No, he has room for the Zealot right there. The mostly wall, which will, of course, allow him to get out. And also going to prevent this natural from going down for as long as he possibly can, continuing to push back and forth with this probe to just be as annoying as possible so it cannot go down. And Whitera, though, he does have that natural right there, of course, at his third. Not natural, but his second base. And he will be sneaking out this drone right here at 22 supply to take his third. So not too much delay. Actually did go down right there, especially since he did take that third base. And it doesn't look like Stephano's actually going to do too much to punish him, at the moment at least, for having that third base. We'll have to see if he does Chrono Boost out a Zealot and a Stalker, maybe a couple Zealots, and send them to his opponent's base, something like that. But it looks like he is pretty content with not having any units right there at all, and instead is going to throw down the Cybernex Core up here in an interesting position, actually, in his main. So Stephano continuing to drone. He does get these double drone. I'm so used to saying Stephano drone probe, and he does get the double guys right up here. And of course, now we're just going to have to watch and see what does Stephano do, as the ball is kind of in Stephano's court at this moment. That's generally what happens in the PvZ matchup, at least, is the Zerg is now kind of going to just try and drone and be as greedy as possible while still scouting his opponent. And just trying to predict, hey, what's my opponent doing? What kind of pressure am I going to see? Is he going to be throwing down early gases? Is he going to be going for some sort of early gate pressure? Or is he going to back off, wait for some sort of 10-30 push, or try and take a fast third? I mean, there's a lot of things that the Protoss player can do right now, and we're just going to have to see how Whitera responds to this. And I like the drone transfer that he did do out of his main right there. And he's a little oversaturated though, but once he does saturate these guys, he should be perfectly saturated actually. So if he's going to put any units on that second guy, so there we go. And now Stephano, Whitera, excuse me, is going to be perfectly saturated. So also throwing down the Roachworn and Evo Chamber, and fairly early with that Roachworn and Evo Chamber. I'm not sure if he thought he saw something. Maybe he saw a Chrono Boost on a Zealot, or something like that. I wasn't really watching over here exactly, but he's going to go ahead and throw down the early Evo Chamber and early Roach Horn just in case. And there's nothing crazy wrong with being a little bit extra safe like that, just throwing that down. It of course will put you back a tiny bit in the minerals as if you had waited until 7:15ish, which is when a lot of players like to throw it down, or 7 minutes, depending. But maybe a good move considering we do see 4 gates now out of Stephano, so it looks like Stephano possibly going to be going for some 4-gate pressure right here. Actually, just kidding. Going for 7-gate Blink Stalker. And I am not surprised at all that I am seeing that, and we will see this +2, of course, pop out as soon as the Twilight Council does finish. So he's going for the +2 Blink Stalker attack. And as a Zerg player myself, I can verify, yeah, that can be a little bit annoying to deal with sometimes. And definitely it's one of those builds. He's going 8-gate, actually. 9-gate? Is he really going to throw 9 gates down? Stephano's going to throw 9 gates down because, hey, you know what? He's Stephano, and that's what he wants to do with 10 gates. No, this is Twilight Council, okay. So yeah, so he's going to be going for the 9-gate Blink Stalker all in. I would imagine this is all in when you're on 9 gates like this. And we'll see if he can do the damage necessary and when he's going to actually have this timing attack hit, if he'll still hit at around that 10:15, 10:30ish mark, or if he's going to be a little bit later, as of course this is him off-racing and just saying, hey, I hate it when my opponent does a 10-gate Blink Stalker. Or 9-gate, 8-gate Blink Stalker with +2. So I'm going to try and do that to my opponent. And Whitera responding to this with a fast 4th. I'm not quite sure that this is the right move, as he's not going to have the units out to defend it. And just like that, he decides maybe I should cancel it, as he does see those units pushing out with his Zergling. And so now he's going to simply start massing up these roaches, massing some spine crawlers here as well. It drops a couple of spine crawlers at his 3rd. And will it be enough is the question, as Stephano now starting to push out across the map. Doesn't have a forward pylon down yet, so it looks like this attack going to be a slightly bit later than usual. And as you can see, he's trying to chrono boost out this upgrade here as fast as he can, but he still has 60 seconds on that, so a full minute. He will be able to get another round of Warpins here, but will Whitera have enough units to defend, as usually the Protoss is already in the attack mode right now, already has that upgrade done. So Stephano now finally going to start pushing forward, and he realizes, hey, you know what, maybe not. He's going to go ahead and get Guardian Shield up as well. The Queen does not go down. He's just going to simply start microing back with these Blink Stalkers. They only have that +1, definitely something to note right now. So not doing as much damage as he wishes, but there's some more Warpins, and as you can see in the supply, it's only 110 to 100 for Stephano, and Stephano going to start picking off these Zerglings pretty easily, as there's no support from any roaches behind them. And so now he's going to simply start moving up into this natural. There's a Hydralisk Den that has gone down for Whitera, but he's not ahead in supply at all, and that is definitely not something you want to have happen as a Zerg player. At least you want to be at least 30 supply ahead, I would say right now, especially against these Blink Stalkers, which can be so efficient, simply blinking back and not dying at all. And we just have the upgrade advantage, yes, going down, so he does have the 2-0 to the 1-0 of his opponent, and is going to simply start microing back with these Stalkers. Unfortunately, he does lose a few, as his blink micro seems to have fallen a tiny bit off right there. Stephano is going to pick off this 4th, though possibly, I don't know if he even knows about this 4th actually, so it looks like he's going to simply wait for another round of reinforcements and start moving right in towards his opponent's base. Hydra's now being added into the mix, and a lot of Lings actually, so Stephano's definitely going to have to be careful. This is definitely a choke that he would probably like to actually engage in, as you do not want to be out in the open when there are this many Lings to attack. So it looks like, yes, Stephano now going to start pushing up right here, and he's going to start microing back with these Blink Stalkers. Actually losing a decent amount, though, as he was unable to effectively micro those the best right there. He's trying to individually just blink each one, and does a decent job, I suppose, but not as good as you would like right there. And now he's just going to simply wait on this choke, but he really needs to be careful, as all these Hydras being added into this mix is not what he wants to see. That's going to be a lot of DPS if he cannot focus those down. And with the Ling Roach Hydra right here, I think it looks like Whitera may actually be able to hold this. He's going to have the high ground advantage as well, and MillStephano with a huge bank right here, unfortunately not warping anything in at the moment, so we'll see if he drops back for another round of Warpins. and actually warps in at his third base as he does have his third up. So not an all-in actually. And double Robo goes down as well with double Observer being chrono boosted out. So an interesting choice there by MillStephano. And now he's going to simply hold this ground right here with these Blink Stalkers. He's going to have to be careful as there is a decent amount of Lings on the map right here. But they are not pushing out together, they're simply pushing out one by one, so he's just going to start microing back and back and back, and probably blink up onto the high ground. All those weekend stalkers, yes he will, and that is so annoying to deal with, but it looks like Whitera trying to get some vision of this high ground right here, and he's going to actually be able to pick up a couple stalkers right there. But not going to be enough, and now it looks like we're going to try and move forward with this Roach Hydra army like this. I'm not a big fan of how he is doing this though, as running up a ramp through this little choke with these rocks with such slow units as Hydras is generally not the best strategy. But it looks like Whitera has managed to get a fourth base up in the meantime that this third base has gone up for Stephano, and Stephano actually throwing a fourth base up as well. So very, very, very fast expansion now coming out from both players, and we are going to see right here Stephano try and chase some of these Lings. If he gets a blink, he'll be able to pick off a couple. Yes, he will. But the Ling's going to just be annoying and run over here to the third base of Stephano, who does not have anything. And in the meantime, we see yet another push actually coming out across the map, sort of, kind of here by Whitera, and he's going to try and catch this army off guard, and it looks like he actually will be able to, so we're going to have to see Stephano be careful. He's going to start losing a few of these stalkers right here, as he did a large blink, but the Hydralisk, unfortunately, just so slow off that creeper, unable to get there in time to join the army. And Stephano with the +3 attack, actually now already has that +1 armor on the way, going to be in a decent position, especially against the simply 0-2 army that we do see out of Whitera right now, and getting this fourth base up already is going to be huge. And a lot of overlords coming over here actually. I don't know if that was going for a fake out. I do love when players do Hydra and Roach drops, but it looks like Whitera unfortunately doesn't even have drops, so just trying to go for a fake out, possibly try and pull his opponent's army back so he can slide these Lings in. But Stephano not going to fall for it, and instead just pick off all the free overlords and say thank you very much. So able to pick off about 3 overlords right there and actually supply block Whitera. So it looks like that was simply a blunder by Whitera. He just moved those out across the map accidentally. However, now we do see Spire and Hive Tech coming out for Whitera, so he feels pretty good on these 4 bases, though he does not have extractors taken yet at his 4th base. And he wants to start teching up to Hive, and that is a decent amount of money saved up as well. So getting those Broodlords out in that army, and now we see an engagement right here between these Immortals and these Stalkers right here, and it's going to be close, but I think the Protoss actually going to win this engagement, as these Stalkers just do not have enough in front of them to tank to do the DPS they need to do. And 5 Immortals as well is going to do a ton of damage. In the meantime, we do see a counterattack right here by Whitera, so going to be able to start picking off a few of these probes. How many probes? I don't think he actually got 29 in that occasion, but a decent amount of probes picked off right there. But unfortunately, it looks like Whitera is going to be losing his 4th base, and now Stephano going to just relentlessly chase all these drones down and pick off all these drones. But will he lose his base here? It doesn't look like it, as he does have 4 Stalkers coming in to save the day, reinforced, as well as 4 Zealots. So now some Lings are going to start pushing out across the map. Once again, going to try and go for a counterattack. A nice blink forward there by Stephano, and he's going to be able to pick off all of these Lings, looks like, as they just try and run straight over here to his opponent's 3rd. So will he even get any probes? He's just going to try and run straight through to the main base, actually. So it's kind of a wild chase right now, as all these Blink Stalkers are going all over the map. And in the end, it looks like these Lings probably pick off 3 or 4 probes at best before all dying off right there. In the very least, it at least gave him a little bit of time, but unfortunately, the Greater Spire is not even done, so he can't be morphing Broodlords, and yet he does have some Corruptors out, though. And will they be able to morph in time? I'm not even sure it's going to matter. If you look at the supplies right now, we do see 187 for Stephano to the simply 107 right here of Whitera, and now we're going to see Stephano starting to push up into his opponent's base, focus down the Queens right here, take out this Hydrogen. I would imagine fairly soon there's going to be a slight engagement over here, and it looks like a forward blink right here, going to be very aggressive for Stephano. He's going to be able to take out most of this army, if not all of it, and yes, that's simply going to be it, and GG from Whitera. And it looks like he actually wanted another game. I did not see another game, at least, from when I was checking for these replays. But that's going to be it. So Stephano going to be able to win the off-race PVZ. And we saw a little bit of funny stuff here out of the players. We saw the counterattacks by our Zerg Whitera, which of course are annoying. And Stephano being annoying with the probe, going for the block, and then of course going for that +2 Blink Stalker attack, which is just ever so delightful to deal with sometimes. So GG, my name is Mr. Llama, and I hope you guys enjoy.